Hi, and welcome to Watch It Played. My name is Rodney Smith, and in this video, we're going to learn the 2 to 4 player game, Cats Knocking Things Off Ledges, designed by Sen-Foong Lim and David Killing, and published by The Op, who helped sponsor this video. I know a thing or two about cats, but not by choice. I did not want a cat, but I was overruled by my family. And of course, that means now me and that creature are inseparable. They just know who to latch onto. And yes, he won me over. But if I was to launch a criticism against felines, they are rarely content to leave things where they belong. And here, we're gonna see that in action. So join me at the table and let's learn how to play. To set up, put these 8 rectangular and 8 circle platform tiles nearby, along with these 12 short and 12 tall pillars. You'll also put this cat paw stick and pair of tweezers within reach of the players, along with this score tracker. Now have each person collect a cat and the 4 cat toys in their chosen color, along with a scoring marker. We'll assume we have 2 players in this video and return the unchosen pieces back to the box. Each person should then put their colored score marker, which shows a paw, onto the matching colored paw print of the score tracker. Next, have any player take a random rectangular platform, along with 2 of these short pillars, and place the platform on top of them so it's balanced like this. The platforms are double-sided, but you'll place them with this side face up. Now the player who was most recently woken up by a cat collects the cat paw stick and will take the first turn. Or you can just choose someone randomly. And that's the setup. In Cats Knocking Things Off Ledges, you'll be building towers for your cats to climb while also handing them toys which they'll immediately knock off their ledges. If these toys remain on the structure, you can earn points. Have the most points by the end of the game, and you'll win. The game is played over a series of turns, starting with the first player and then going clockwise around and around the table. On your turn, you'll complete 4 steps, starting with building 1 platform. Here you may either take 1 pillar of either size from the supply and add any round platform from the supply on top of it, or you may take any 2 pillars and add a rectangular platform from the supply onto them. Now, when building your platform, its pillars can be placed on top of any other platforms in play or put completely separate. The new pillars do not have to touch any of the other platforms at all if you don't want. That said, a platform can never touch another platform. So, as an example, we could not put a platform like this. Also notice, if I was placing a platform like this one, I could use 2 pillars of different sizes to place it like this. When building, you may also gently nudge any game pieces with the pillar you are placing if they are in the way of the area you are adding to. So as an example, let's just say this piece was here. If I wanted to add a platform where it's sitting, I could just nudge it like that. We'll see how pieces like this cat can end up in play a little later. Just be aware, if you knock anything over, your turn ends and you won't score anything that turn. Now we'll talk more about how to score points and what happens when towers fall a little later, but just be aware, if there are not enough pillars or platforms left in the supply to build with when you get to this first step of your turn, you simply skip that step and move on to the next one. And the next step of your turn is to place your cat and toy. Using these tweezers, you pick up your cat from wherever it is and place it onto a platform that does not already have a cat on it. So I might put it here. At the start of the game, your cat is not on a platform, so you would have just taken it from the table as we saw. But on a future turn, if it's already on a platform, then you would take it from the platform it is on at that time and move it to another one. And you may not move it back to the platform it was just on. After moving your cat, you then use the tweezers to move any one of its matching colored toys from wherever it is to the platform where your cat is. You may not put the toy on top of your cat. It must instead be placed so it's on the platform itself. However, the toy can be put in any area of that platform and even on its side, perhaps like that. If you accidentally drop a toy out of the tweezers while moving it, as long as you did not knock any of the towers over, just pick it back up from wherever it is and put it where it's supposed to go. Again, we'll learn what happens when a tower falls over a little later. That said, now it's time for the batting a toy step of your turn. Here you pick up this cat paw stick and bat the toy you just placed by your cat so it falls off the platform it is currently on. It's okay if your first tap doesn't do the trick. You can hit the toy multiple times to get it to fall. After the toy falls, it's then time for the scoring step of your turn, where you'll score points based on how far the toy fell and where it landed. Now, I'm going to set up a few different examples like you might see later in the game, so the structure is going to change, but this will help show you how this scoring works. No matter what happens, if the toy lands on the table, you score 0 points. So you never want that to happen. Instead, you want it to land on another platform. If the toy does land on a platform, you'll score 1 point for each short pillar distance and 2 points for each tall pillar distance the toy fell. So if this toy fell like this, it would score 2 points for this distance and another 1 point for this distance, which is a total of 3. You'll notice that each platform in the game shows a pattern matching one of the 4 different types of toys in the game. If a toy lands on a platform that it matches, along with the points that you score for the distance it fell, you'll also score 1 bonus point. In this case, our fish toy did land on a fish-patterned platform, so we would gain that additional bonus point. Anytime you score points, you move your marker up the score tracker the related number of spaces. After you've recorded the points you've scored, if any, leave all of your pieces where they are, and then the next player in clockwise order takes their turn. However, let's now take a moment and discuss what happens if any part of a tower falls over. When this happens on your turn, you score 0 points and your turn immediately ends. But first, there's a little cleanup. Let's say after a tower fall, things looked like this. You would now return any platforms that are not entirely supported by pillars back to the supply, and this would include any platforms lying on the table or directly on top of other platforms. You also return platforms to the supply that are leaning or are at any angle. As well, if there are any pillars without platforms on top of them, those are also returned to the supply. Any other pieces like cats or toys, you just leave where they are. Now, if the entire tower has completely fallen over, that's okay. Just redo the part of the setup where a random rectangular platform is placed on top of 2 short pillars, and then continue playing. As turns continue, if a player reaches a score of 10 or more points, each other player gets 1 more turn. Then the game ends and the player with the highest score wins. In the case of a tie, the tied players share the victory. And that's everything you need to know to play Cats Knocking Things Off Ledges. If you have any questions about anything you saw here, feel free to put them in the comments below, and I'll gladly answer them as soon as I get a chance. You'll also find forums for discussion, pictures, other videos, and lots more over on the games page at Board Game Geek, and I'll put a link to that in the description below. And if you found this video helpful, please consider giving it a like, subscribing, and clicking that little bell icon so you get notification anytime we post a new video. And if you'd like to support us directly, you can join our Patreon team, which I'll have linked below. But until next time, thanks for watching.